Stars, it may have taken decades, but when Queen Consort Camilla saw the brass ring or brass other thing she wanted, she grabbed them with both hands. Now the Telegraph is reporting inside the Queen's ring of steel how Camilla is coping without the king. It was an intimate Valentine's Day gathering of some of the Queen's close confidants. Organized by her friend Giles Brandreth, the evening saw Camilla finally let her hair down after what has been a fraught fortnight behind palace walls. Joined by her sister, Annabel Elliot, and pals including Dame Judi Dench, Dame Joanna Lumley, and Sir Stephen Fry, the Celebration of Shakespeare event was designed to bring some welcome cheer following the king's cancer diagnosis. Although the monarch, 75, was originally expected to attend, after another round of treatment in London on Wednesday, he left his wife to enjoy an evening of performances by stars of stage and screen. Oh, ever the king's rock. Camilla once again put best foot forward to honor the commitment in the interests of crown and country. If the shock news of her husband's condition has been taking its toll on the Queen, then she certainly hasn't been showing it as she continues to live up to her reputation as someone who gets on with it. Even a whistle-stop visit by Prince Harry, who described her as his wicked stepmother in his autobiography Spare, wasn't enough to put her off her stride. As one source close to the couple pointed out, "It has been pretty phenomenal how the Queen has kept the show on the road." Referencing the royal engagements she has carried out since Buckingham Palace announced the news on February 5th, including a 6-hour journey to Salisbury after a storm grounded the royal flight, the insider added, "She has undertaken a range of duties, both big and small, including a visit to the Maggie's Centre at the end of last month when she knew the king's condition, but couldn't share it. What a trooper she is at 76 with a poorly husband." 2 poorly husbands. Ilsa Anderson, the former press secretary to the late Queen Elizabeth II, said perhaps not enough credit is given to Camilla for being front and center of the king's slimmed-down monarchy. "People forget that she hasn't been brought up to do this role. The king and Prince William know their destiny, but she's relatively a newcomer to the royal family. She's a grandmother, but she's a wife as well. She's got to support her husband. Anyone who knows someone who has had cancer knows how hard it is for the spouse." Everybody needs a friend in a time of crisis, and the Brandreth organized evening of entertainment proved the perfect pick-me-up, celebrating the work of the English playwright. The event in Grosvenor House, Mayfair, featured recitals by Dame Judy, Gary Oldman, and Robert Lindsay, who, among the 300 guests, were a dozen dames, including Dame Vanessa Redgrave, Dame Eileen Atkins, and Dame Penelope Keith. Were there any people of color there? Oops. Summing up the mood, Sir Stephen said, "Whatever you think of the monarchy, their role is to bind the nation together, and they are doing that. It was terrific to hear the support for the king tonight. Every taxi driver and barista, all the serfs, people I talked to wants to wish him well. He is genuinely so self-questioning. It is one of his most endearing qualities. I don't think he would believe it. All the support." Yet, while the king is undoubtedly in the thoughts and prayers of many, who exactly is Camilla turning to as the going gets tough? Conspicuous by their presence at the Shakespearean gathering were some less well-known names upon whom the Queen has increasingly come to rely in the wake of her husband's health problems. Foremost among them is undoubtedly Mrs. Annabel Elliot, who was by her elder sister's side at Westminster Abbey for the coronation last May. Later joining the king and queen on the Buckingham Palace balcony with her grandson, Arthur Elliot, then 11, acting as one of 8 pages of honor. So we see you, girl, sliding in with your team strong, like you're a rapper going to a nightclub, right? Getting your eyes and ears on deck and pushing those that are truly loyal to King Charles out the door, out of the country, across the planet, so that you can get down with the go-round. The sisters have always been incredibly close, with the interior designer Annabelle involved in the renovation of many Duchy of Cornwall estates, right? Are any of those royal estates? Is she getting some of that, sweet, free renovation money from UK taxpayers into her little, dusty pocketbook? But the death of Simon Elliot, 82, Annabelle's husband of 50 years, just months before the coronation, has brought them even closer, as did the sudden death of their brother, Mark Shand, in 2014, aged 62. So close were the Elliots to the king and queen that when Charles and Camilla celebrated their honeymoon in Balmoral in 2005, Annabelle and Simon joined them. Oh. Reports suggested that the royal staff were instructed to lay the wedding night table for 4 instead of 2. Oh, I'm glad it was the table. It came years after the couple had allowed a much younger Charles and Camilla to meet secretly at their country house in the Dorset village of Storpane. Annabelle continued to support her sister throughout the difficulties of the relationship. Yeah, being married to other people certainly would make it difficult, but it's cool if your sister is gonna cover up your dirt, right? So then decades later you can stunt on people in the crown. Wow. Annabelle continued to support her sister throughout the difficulties of the relationship, driving Camilla away and out of public view when John Major announced in the Commons the separation of the Prince and Princess of Wales in 1992. It was at Annabelle's 40th birthday party when Diana confronted Camilla over her relationship with Charles. Well, I mean, there but for the grace of God go I. How would either of these women feel if someone was actively meeting up with their husband, somewhere in their sister's house or in the garage or in the ditch or in the horse stable or wherever the carrying on was happening, because it isn't right. I know it sounds old-fashioned, but a decade later at Annabelle's 50th birthday party celebrations at the Ritz, Camilla came out as Charles' partner, using the occasion to pose for the first public pictures together on the hotel steps. We've seen all those black stocking, jeweled choker at the neck photos, and, Charles is all red in the face with excitement. Renowned for her loyalty to those who helped her through the trials and tribulations of the War of the Waleses. But you were the cause of the War of the Waleses. Another of Camilla's rocks is her best friend and companion, Lady Lansdowne, who also appeared on the Buckingham Palace balcony as the Queen's other attendant on Coronation Day. Right, so like Tony Soprano, she rolling deep with her homies, the people who are on her side, who are not afraid to get their hands dirty to get her what she wants. I think Prince Harry is right on the money, because a regular person, a regular woman who was actually in love with dude would come, and then, her children would visit, and it would be, you would want to avoid any perception that you were thugging and replacing the king's children and grandchildren with your own. But that's not this one. Oh, I hope King Charles is not naive enough. I hope that this, Camilla is his cat's paw. That's what I really hope. Anyway, an interior designer known professionally as Fiona Shelburne, Lady Lansdowne, said of her role in the historic ceremony, "She, Queen Camilla, is fiercely loyal to friends, and that will be reflected in who goes to the big day. She wants to be loyal to the people who stood by her.